you ever tried to heal in a place where your body never fully relaxes? Maybe nothing obvious is happening. Nobody is yelling right now. Nobody slammed a door. From the outside, life might even look normal. You go to work, you answer messages, you sit at the same table, you keep showing up like everything is fine. But inside, something stays on alert. Your body keeps listening for a shift in tone. It reads the mood of the room before you decide how much of yourself is safe to show. It knows which footsteps mean tension. It knows which silence means trouble. It can tell the difference between a peaceful room and a room that is only quiet for now. That is why healing feels so confusing. People tell you to move on, stop thinking about it, leave the past in the past. But sometimes, the past is not just in your memory. Sometimes the past is still in the room with you. Same voice, same pattern, same pressure, same expectation that you keep pretending it does not hurt. And you cannot fully heal in a place that keeps reopening the wound. This is quietly human, a space for the thoughts most people carry but rarely say out loud. No preaching, no perfect answers, just honest observations about what it means to be human. In this episode, we are looking at what healing actually needs, why time alone is not enough, why familiar pain can start to feel safe, why distance is not always betrayal, and why leaving the old place also means understanding the pattern so you do not rebuild the same pain somewhere else. Let's start with the part people miss most. Healing requires more than time. Time can pass inside the wrong environment, and a person can still feel stuck. Years go by, while the same fear stays alive. The same sadness keeps returning. The same tightness shows up in your chest when a certain name appears on your phone. That does not mean you failed to heal. It might mean the wound is still being touched. Think of it like a plant. A plant does not grow just because days pass. It needs light. It needs water. It needs soil that is not poisoning the roots. People are not that different. Growth needs conditions. Peace needs a place where it can actually survive. Some environments never give the body permission to rest. They keep you prepared for the next argument, the next mood swing, the next moment where honesty becomes a problem. Even when nothing is happening, the body remembers what usually happens next. Your mind might try to explain it away. Maybe this time will be different. Maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I just need to be more patient. But the body tells the truth before the mind is ready to admit it. The body says we have been here before. That is not weakness. That is memory. The mind can forgive faster than the nervous system can feel safe. You can understand why something happened, care deeply about the people involved, and still not feel safe enough to heal around them. Understanding the wound is not the same as being free from it. And this is where a lot of people get trapped in a circle. They do not just want to heal. They want to go back to before. Before the argument. Before the betrayal. Before the moment the room stopped feeling safe. And honestly, that desire makes sense. Going back feels easier than grieving what changed. If things could just return to how they were, maybe the pain would never have to be faced at all. But healing is not the same as restoring the past. Sometimes the past is gone, and the only way forward is to stop walking laps around what broke. Because every attempt to rebuild the old version becomes another lap around the same pain. Another conversation, another chance, another hope that this time the room becomes safe because you finally found the right words. But here is the truth. A place does not become safe just because you learned how to survive it. And that truth hurts, because familiar pain can start to feel like home. Not because the pain is good, because the pain is known. When someone grows used to being dismissed, criticized, or made responsible for everyone else's comfort, the body starts confusing familiar with safe. A painful pattern is still predictable, and sometimes predictable feels less frightening than peace. A person can spend years inside the same role, because at least they know the rules. Be the strong one. Be the quiet one. Be the one who apologizes first. Be the one who absorbs the tension, so everyone else can pretend the room is fine. That role hurts, but it comes with instructions. Peace does not always come with instructions at first. So when something healthier finally shows up, it can feel strange. Calm feels empty when chaos used to fill the room. Kindness feels suspicious when love used to come with conditions. A safe relationship feels unfamiliar when your nervous system is used to earning care through performance. This is why people return to places that hurt them, not because they want to suffer, not because they do not know better. The body reaches for what it recognizes, even when what it recognizes is pain. But survival is not the same as healing. Getting through the day is not the same as being free. Knowing how to avoid the worst parts of someone is not the same as being loved well. Sometimes, what looks like strength is really adaptation, and adaptation can keep you alive, but it cannot make you whole. That is why distance matters. Distance is not always betrayal. It is not always cold. It is not giving up on people. Sometimes distance is the first honest thing a person does for their own healing. There are moments when healing needs space before it can become real. Space to hear your own thoughts without someone correcting them. Space to feel what you feel without your pain becoming inconvenient. Space to remember who you are when you are not performing a role for everyone else. That space looks different for everyone. For one person, it means leaving a house. For another, it means limiting a conversation. For someone else, it means not answering right away, not explaining every decision, not returning to rooms where the same wounded version of them keeps getting demanded. And not every exit happens all at once. Some exits require planning. Some require money. Some require support. Some begin quietly. One boundary, one honest sentence, one private decision to stop abandoning yourself just to keep the room comfortable. That still counts. Healing does not always begin with a dramatic goodbye. Sometimes it begins with a smaller sentence. I cannot keep doing this. That does not work for me anymore. I am allowed to protect my peace. Those sentences sound simple, but for someone trained to stay available, they feel like a revolution. And when distance begins, guilt usually follows. That guilt can be loud. It can sound like responsibility. It can even sound like love. The place that broke you may not understand why you need space from it. The people who benefited from your silence may call your boundary disrespect. The people who liked the version of you that absorbed everything may not celebrate the version that finally says no. That does not mean the boundary is wrong. It means the old system noticed you stopped playing the same role. This is where many people turn back. Not because the place became safe, because the guilt became heavy. Someone gets angry. Someone cries. Someone says, "You have changed." And maybe you have. Maybe that is the point. Healing is supposed to change how you move through rooms that once controlled you. Peace may cost access to people who only knew how to connect through guilt, control, or chaos. Not everyone will understand the version of you that stops bleeding on command. Some people only knew how to relate to your wounds. They knew the version who answered every call, apologized first, explained everything, and stayed even when staying hurt. When that version starts to disappear, they call it distance. But sometimes it is not distance. Sometimes it is recovery, and recovery needs a different environment. Now, a healing environment is not perfect. It is not some magical place where nothing hurts and every day feels peaceful. That is not real life. A healing environment is simply a place where the wound is not constantly being reopened. A place where honesty does not become punishment, where rest is allowed, where growth is not mocked, where you can be imperfect without becoming emotionally unsafe. In that kind of environment, your body does not have to study every face in the room before deciding how to speak. Your nervous system does not have to brace for the next storm every time someone goes quiet, and that gives something back. Room to think clearly. Room to grieve what happened. Room to stop confusing chaos with love. Room to learn new patterns slowly, without being dragged back into the old ones. Every time progress begins, sometimes the healing environment is not a whole new life at first. Sometimes it is one safe friendship, One quiet morning routine. One walk where nobody needs anything from you. One journal nobody reads. One decision not to answer the message that always pulls you back into the old version of yourself. Healing often begins in small spaces, where the nervous system finally realizes it is allowed to breathe. But leaving the old place is only half the work. The other half is understanding the pattern. And this part is delicate, because it should never become self-blame. Being patient does not mean you deserve to be hurt. Having hope does not make you responsible for someone else's harm. But healing asks for honesty, because most of the time, there was a signal early on, not a loud warning, something small, a moment that felt off, a pattern that kept repeating, a behavior that made you uncomfortable but you explained it away because you wanted the story to end differently. You gave it grace, then more grace, then so much grace that by the time the damage arrived, it did not feel like a surprise. It felt like confirmation of something a quiet part of you already knew. That does not make the hurt your fault. It means healing has to include learning to trust yourself sooner, learning to take the small signals seriously, learning not to call a red flag a misunderstanding just because you love the potential, learning not to rebuild the same place with new people and the same old role waiting inside. Because that is what happens when you skip this step. New room, same fear. New relationship, same test. New beginning, same pattern, wearing a different face. That is why healing is more than escape. Healing is learning a new way to belong to yourself. It is noticing when peace feels boring because your body is used to chaos. It is learning to stop mistaking intensity for connection. It is learning to trust calm without waiting for it to turn into punishment. It is learning that love does not have to feel like a test, and that a safe place will never require you to disappear in order to stay. This takes time, and it should. Nobody unlearns survival overnight. There will be days when the old place calls. Not always as a person, sometimes as loneliness, sometimes as guilt, sometimes as nostalgia, the urge to return to what is familiar, even when familiar almost destroyed you. On those days, be careful with memory. The mind softens the past when the present feels hard. It remembers the laughter. It remembers the good moments. It remembers the comfort of knowing where everything was. But healing requires a full memory. Remember the cost too. Remember what it did to your sleep. Remember how small you had to become. Remember how often your body braced for impact. Remember how much of yourself had to go quiet just to keep the peace. That does not mean the past had no love in it. It means love was not enough to make the place safe. And that is a hard truth. A place can hold good memories and still not be where you heal. A person can have good qualities and still not be safe for your becoming. Leaving does not mean everything was bad. It means enough was harmful. So if you are in that middle place right now where part of you wants to heal and part of you is still standing inside, what hurt you, give yourself compassion. It is not simple. It is not quick. And it is not always visible to other people. But somewhere inside, you may already know the truth. The environment that taught you to shrink may not be the one that teaches you to breathe. The people who benefited from your silence may not know what to do with your voice. The room that trained your nervous system to survive may never be able to teach it peace. You are allowed to need a different space. You are allowed to outgrow a role that kept you wounded. You are allowed to protect the part of yourself that is still learning how to feel safe. You cannot heal in the same place that broke you. Not fully. Not if the same pattern keeps repeating. Not if the same wound keeps being reopened. Not if peace is only allowed when everyone else gets what they want from you. Healing needs honesty. Healing needs safety. Healing needs space. And healing needs you to understand what you learned to ignore, so you never have to rebuild what broke you. Sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is stop calling survival home. So move gently, move wisely, get support where you need it. But do not ignore the part of you that knows the difference between a place that challenges you and a place that keeps breaking you. One helps you grow, the other keeps you bleeding. And you were not made to spend your whole life proving you can survive what keeps hurting you. Take what applies, leave what does not. Thank you for watching Quietly Human. If this episode gave language to something you have been carrying, like, share, and subscribe. It helps these quiet conversations reach the people who need them. Take what applies, leave what does not.